Today, we're diving into a college football game that wasn't just a surprising score. No. This was a game that sent an earthquake through the entire sport and completely challenged everything we thought we knew about a dynasty. This is the incredible story of how Indiana stunned Alabama.
You see, this wasn't just a matchup. It was a clash of two totally different universes. On one side, you had the immense weight of an established, almost mythical legacy. And on the other side, a cold, hard, new reality that was about to hit them like a freight train.
To really truly get the scale of what happened here, you have to understand the history, or in Indiana's case, the complete lack of it on a stage this big. For the Hoosiers, this was not just another playoff game, and I am not exaggerating when I say this was everything. I mean, just look at these dates for a second. We're talking about literal decades of being on the outside looking in. An entire generation of fans had never seen their team win any kind of bowl game, let alone get to the Rose Bowl. All of that history, all of that waiting, it all culminated in this one single massive opportunity against a true titan of the sport.
And then you look across the field, and there's Alabama, a team where games like this aren't a rare shot at glory. For them, this is just an annual expectation. It's Tuesday. This was supposed to be just another box to check on the way to another championship. Or so they thought. But what happened next? Well, it defied all the expectations, all the history, all logic. The final score was something that, if you just saw it pop up on your screen, you'd be sure it was a typo. 38-3. It was a complete and total dismantling.
And here's the thing. This game wasn't won with trick plays. It was won in the trenches. Pure physical domination. What's so wild is how Indiana, physically overwhelmed a team that is famous for its power. 215 yards rushing to Alabama's 23. They didn't just out-scheme them, they straight up out-muscled.
So for Alabama, this wasn't just a loss. This was a historic collapse. That 35-point difference, that's the most lopsided postseason defeat in the school's entire storied history, ever. This was completely uncharted territory for the Crimson Tide.
So you have to be asking, where did it all go so wrong for Bama? Well, the cracks started to show early. According to their own head coach, Kalen DeBoer, it started with a huge gamble. They went for it on 4th down, deep in their own territory, and they didn't get it. And just like that, you've handed Indiana a short field, a quick touchdown, and all the momentum. It set a disastrous tone for the entire game.
Okay, so that's the Alabama side of it. But that brings us to the real question, right? How in the world did this happen? How did a program like Indiana get to a place where it could so thoroughly dominate a blue blood like Alabama? Well, the answer really boils down to one man and his philosophy.
Meet Curt Cignetti. And here is the absolute best part, the beautiful irony of his whole thing. Cignetti is a former Alabama assistant coach. He worked under the legend Nick Saban. So he came to Indiana with a clear plan, a blueprint that he knew like the back of his hand, because he helped build it.
And this quote from him just lays it all out perfectly. His strategy wasn't some new age invention. He took Alabama's own philosophy, that whole identity of physical dominance, of breaking an opponent's will with the run game, and he just used it against them. He turned their greatest strength into his weapon.
Cignetti's method was actually pretty simple, but it was just devastatingly effective. First, you hit the transfer portal hard to bring in top-tier talent right away. Then, you install an old-school punishing run game. And finally, you preach a mindset of just pure physical annihilation. You see, this wasn't just a new game plan. This was a complete and total identity shift for the entire program.
And of course, you can't have a vision like that without the perfect guy to execute it. Enter quarterback Fernando Mendoza, a transfer from Cal who not only goes on to win the Heisman Trophy, but was also the guy who kept the team completely locked in during that long 26-day break before the game. His arrival might just go down as one of the most important transfer portal pickups ever. So while Indiana is celebrating the victory that their own coach called surreal, Alabama was left picking up the pieces, facing a painful, humbling reality. For one night, the dynasty had been brought completely to its knees.
The numbers just tell a story of a giant falling harder than anyone could have imagined on the national stage. Trailing by 35 points for the first time since 1998, the worst postseason loss in school history. These aren't just stats, they're an indictment of a performance that was just unimaginable for a program like Alabama.
And from the players' point of view, it wasn't about the strategy. Receiver Jeremy Bernard was brutally honest about it. He said, "Look, the coaches gave us the right plan. We just couldn't get it done. It was a simple failure to execute when it mattered most, on the biggest stage."
And Coach DeBoer's words here, wow, they really hammer home just how razor-thin the margins are in elite college football. He's admitting that the gap between competing and actually winning is huge. And for his team, the only way forward is to go right back to square one, to start all over again.
And so, just like that, in one night, the paths of two major programs were completely changed. For Indiana, it's this surreal journey that now has them one win away from a national title. And for Alabama, it's a very humbling return to the drawing board, being forced to rebuild from the ground up.
And that leaves all of us with the biggest question of all, one that's going to define the sport for years. Was this just a fluke, a perfect storm for Indiana? Or, in this new era of the transfer portal and a 12-team playoff, is the old guard, the Blue Bloods, more vulnerable than ever before? What you should really take away from this is that legacies are earned for sure, but as this game proved so powerfully, they are never, ever guaranteed.